Hey singers, welcome to my podcast, Jenny Lynn Voice Studio Podcast, and thanks so much for visiting. I am, okay, to try to label myself, forget it, whatever. I'm your girl, and I'm here to bring you another podcast. Before I get started in the podcast, go ahead and let me know via email if you are interested in private one-on-one video chat voice lessons from your own home. I also do the same thing, private one-on-one video chat mentorship sessions for creatives. Okay, and it's about following your bliss, and it's about doing it with as much fun and grace and fabulousness as possible. And so that's what I do. All right, let's get into the content. I want to start off with a very basic singing tip, and that is, guys, I like to talk about this kind of something you don't think about, but the truth is when you sing like you speak. Okay, so if you were to watch me creating this podcast right now, you would notice that I'm not opening my mouth super big, right? I'm not like opening my jaw and like being super big with my mouth, right? When you speak, your mouth doesn't even really open that much. I don't know, it opens half an inch, maybe an inch. Your tongue moves freely. Depending on the vowel, your tongue is moving around, right? Like an E vowel curls up towards the back. An A vowel, the tongue rests down lower in the mouth. So like the tongue moves normally and freely. And the lips move normally and freely. Like if I'm singing, ooh, you got it, I have a normal pucker. My lips come together like a pucker. Okay, like mwah, like a pucker with my lips. If I sing everlasting, there's no pucker. So you're moving your lips and your tongue naturally, just like you would move it to speak, and you're not opening your mouth any wider than you normally would. That includes very low notes and that includes very high notes. Now, I've seen amazing singers that drop their jaw and really open their mouth on very high notes. That is not my technique. I don't need to do it. And that's why I don't teach it. It doesn't give me anything. It doesn't make my high notes better. It just makes me look like, a snake that's like dropping its jaw. Like I don't feel I get many benefits from it, if any at all, because the way that I teach my singers to sing high notes is to use the zipping technique. Of course, go ahead and watch any of my other videos or podcasts on the zipping technique to learn more about that. But opening my jaw super big doesn't do anything for me. So I don't teach that at all. I just teach a normal mouth position, whether you're low or whether you're high. So what you want to do is just look in the mirror when you're singing and just make sure you don't look like a cuckoo crazy person. Okay? Make sure you look like yourself. There shouldn't be any weird tension. You should be able to pucker on an ooh or an O. An O is a bigger pucker, but you should be able to pucker. You should be able to just relax and move your tongue and lips freely. And that is going to create a very natural sound. So, when you're singing, you're like, let me think of a song coming to mind. I'm your baby tonight. Whatever you want from me, giving you everything. I'm your baby tonight. In order for me to create a sound like that, that's so natural, like it almost sounds identical to my speaking voice. Part of that is just having normal mouth positions, nothing too weird. So just look at yourself in the mirror. Make sure you look like yourself. Make sure you're able to do a variety, all vowels, all words, just very normally like you would speak them. Make sure that when you're going up to your high notes or to your low notes, you don't need to do some overextended jaw or anything. Just keep everything normal. And you will find that your sound will be getting more primal, or what I call natural. And that's what we want. We want to sing and sound like ourselves, and we want it to be effortless and clear. So there you go. That's my tip for the day. All right. So I want to get into this second part of the podcast, and that's talking about how to have more play, more fun, a greater sense of humor in your art, guys. Now, your favorite artists out there, the ones that you admire deeply. For me, don't get me started, Mariah, Whitney. I love Britney. I love Christina Aguilera. Big fan of Ariana Grande. Love her voice. I see amazing singers, and I can see that they are in alignment with joy, with fun, with not taking themselves that as seriously as you would think. No, I can't, and probably not very much at all in their art. And here's what I mean by that, is that the greatest art is produced, and I see this time and time again with my voice students and with myself, when I'm not taking it very seriously at all. So it's funny, like I'm telling you this because I know many of you following this, it's like getting good is a serious thing to you. Being able to make a living doing something you love, it's very serious to you. This is not a joke. You have your parents and you have people that love you, not only putting pressure on you, but maybe even depending on you to make it. It's not funny when you really don't have enough money for rent this month and you're not sure how you're going to get it together. You're like, it's not funny. And I will say, I don't mean to laugh, but I've been there. Okay. There have been times when I wasn't sure how I was going to make the rent. Many. I remember one year I was living in an apartment in Fullerton, California, and I just took it kind of month by month. Somehow I got through that year. I somehow, that money always came. I remember when I had to move, and, you need kind of a lot of money to move. You need, your down payment and then your first month's rent and then da-da-da-da. And I thought, oh boy, I need about an extra $5,000 in my account right about now. And I'll never forget, I had a student call me and say, hey, I just received a big scholarship from school and I can only use this in voice lessons or something like that. I don't know the details, and she said, and I'd like to see you, a couple times a week. And at the time I was like $100 an hour, I think. And she goes, I'd like to see you a couple days a week, and I'd like to pay for about 6 months in advance through my scholarship or something. I can't remember how many months in advance it was, but she wanted to pay several months in advance. And she goes, so can I just do it like a direct deposit into your account of about $5,000? I said, yes, ma'am. You guys, I don't know. It was like, it's like those hand to mouth years, which I'm not too far from. Though I don't live like that anymore, and I've had quite a bit of financial abundance in my life the last year or so, but prior to that was hand to mouth, y'all. And I was an artist, I was a singer, and I was a teacher, and I was trying to become a mentor. I do that more now. I mentor people, as you guys know, but I was like trying to do this stuff, and I'm like, none of these things are money makers, at least in the beginning. I'm a huge fan of entrepreneurship, but I don't know many entrepreneurs that from the jump were making money. And so here I pick, entrepreneurship under the umbrella of artistry. What a hot mess, right? I call it a creative entrepreneur. And so, it was hand to mouth. And there was one time that I was sort of spiraling. I thought it was a breakdown, but it was a breakthrough. And you're going to learn that, guys. When you go through those dark moments, they're breakthrough moments, but you don't feel like that in the moment. But those are your greatest learning experiences. That's when your character's growing, your spirituality is growing, you're emerging. I don't know if the word is more powerful, but more effective, more powerful, more confident, more capable than ever from those dark, low moments. And my intuition told me to quit my job and pack up my car and travel around the country for about a year or so, and then finally end up in New York after living in California. And amidst all of that, I was living off of credit cards, and it was just lots of fun. But you know what? I was still living the life, yo. I was still eating at Whole Foods. I would go to different cities, and I'd eat at the most delicious restaurants in the city. And I lived off, out of a suitcase of just a few different things. I had almost no, I had like maybe 10 outfits in a suitcase. That was it. I had a Planet Fitness membership, so I would take showers at Planet Fitness and, get up and boom, put that red lipstick on, just I traveled. I stopped in Charlotte for a little bit and lived there for a few months. I stopped on the Upper East Side of New York and I lived there for a few months. I was essentially, like, long story short, like kind of homeless meets like nomad traveler meets like a little bit of luxury for that little stint in Charlotte. I lived in like a ridiculously luxurious apartment, the most beautiful and luxurious apartment I've ever lived in. Maybe ever been in. It was amazing. Guys, the amenities, we're talking like a beautiful pool with gorgeous cabanas, with like a whole barbecue area, with like a fun party room, with like a ridiculous view in like the most posh area in Charlotte, which is South Park. For any of y'all that live down south, South Park, Charlotte, North Carolina is like exquisite. And 2 seconds from the mall, 2 seconds from Whole Foods. I mean, I was just like living the luxury, and then the next minute I was living out of my car for 3 months. It was crazy. So long story short, I understand the pressure, and the pressure is to make money, and the pressure is to finally prove to everyone that you're somebody, or that you've got this gift, and that everyone should have believed in you when they didn't. And the pressure to build some kind of respect in the planet, right? Like something where people can look at you and be like, yes, ta-da, a respectable man has walked in the door. I understand. Hello, I'm Korean. Okay? My parents were like, doctor, lawyer, CPA, which one, toots? And I was like, I understand. I understand the poverty side of things. I understand the family pressure side of things. I understand the ego side of things, of just wanting to be this person that you have in your head that you deep down know one day you could be. Why aren't I there yet? And then you go to do your art, the very thing you love, the thing you've been called to do, the thing that's the most joyful thing you do all day. And you bring that seriousness into your lesson, or into your practice time that day, or into your studio session, or into your writing session, or into your classes, or into your work with your coaches, or into your live performance on a stage, or into your YouTube videos. And you bring that with you, and you end up producing art that is less quality than you would have if you had just been playing. Okay? And part of being an artist, I tell my singers this, and I have to embrace this too, because I have many hideous moments, and moments where if you don't laugh at yourself and have a sense of humor and accept and embrace the fact that being an artist feels embarrassing, another word, humiliating, exposing, you feel exposed. It's like hilarious. Like, it's like, I can't even believe that, like, I put out that YouTube video or that Instagram shot, or, you go back and you listen to your recordings, you're like, what? You're just like cringing, because the reason you're cringing is because part of it is because you're still growing in your process of being an artist, and your actual skill has not matched up with the vision you have in your head yet. And it will, guys. Just like for me, like, my goal is to be like Whitney Houston meets Barbra Streisand, Ariana Grande, a little bit of Britney Flair, Susan Boyle class. Like, I don't know. I want to be phenomenal. Do you want to be famous, Jenny? I mean, whatever. I'd take it or leave it. Whatever. Do you want to be rich? Yeah, I do. I'd love to be rich, but I want to be phenomenal. Like, I want people to hear me sing, most likely through social media, so that I could do it from home and not have to leave or get dressed. But I'd like people to hear my voice one day and be like, oh my gosh, what a voice. Like, beautiful, beautiful singing. And the problem is my skill set, or my better way of saying it spiritually, is that my alignment with my true self is still a work in progress. I'm not there yet. Hence, I put up a video the other day, Come What May, from Moulin Rouge. How a person butchers Come What May, don't ask me, because it's one of the most beautiful love songs of all time. When I'm feeling down and not loving myself and feeling discouraged, I sing those lyrics to myself. My favorite line is, And there's no mountain too high, no river too wide. Sing out this song and I'll be there by your side. Storm clouds may gather and stars may collide, but I love you until the end of time. Okay, so like gorgeous lyrics, right? Somehow, some way, I forgot my foundation. My girls, guys, see, I keep saying girls because I have a podcast specifically for women, but I know this is a mixed podcast. Guys, I am all about being like freestyle with makeup during the week. That's fine. But when you get on camera, if at my age, at 40, if you're not wearing a little foundation, girl, it doesn't come off right. So I'm like foundation free, looking like a hot mess. My cleavage is like popping out, which I didn't do on purpose. Y'all that are curvy understand my issues. And I just sound so bad. And I'm like, what is going, how did what in my brain told me to post this video? Then I go look at it a couple weeks later as I'm tempted daily to take it down. Because of course I'm taking myself so seriously. It's it's just a YouTube channel. Who cares? The world is not going to stop or turn any faster if I pump out a better version of Come What May. So anyway, I look at it and it's close to approaching 10,000 views already. And I'm like, lo and behold, every time I put out something hideous, that's the video that goes. If you want to hear more hideous singing, you can listen to my cover of Halo. That was atrocious. I mean, that cover has 3-4 million views. And there's something about the hilariousness of the world that when you least expect it is when people are just totally mesmerized with your art. In moments where you think there's no one in the world that is going to like this because this is just a hot mess is the very moment that someone thinks you're fabulous. The moment you just stop being so serious and start playing and having fun and dancing around and just being in the present moment is just the very moment that everything comes together. The song is written, the play is scripted, you've been cast in the role, you've been, a video goes viral, or I don't know, whatever it is popping in your life, and it pops when you're ready for it. It pops when you least expect it. It pops when you're having fun. It pops when you almost just don't care about the outcome anymore because you're so embraced in today. And tomorrow isn't promised, y'all. Tomorrow is not promised. There is no promise that I will wake up tomorrow and be able to sing another song. So it's important that I'm here in the present moment, immersed in my art, doing my art. Well, what if I'm not doing it for anyone? Well, then do it for yourself. Do it to feed your own soul. Do it to comfort yourself with words and lyrics that matter to you. Do it because you're expressing something. It's almost like a lighthearted meditation or a lighthearted prayer in a sense, to be totally immersed in your art and in the words and in all that you're doing. So another thing I learned being a professional singer throughout my life is that the colleagues I preferred to work with and sing with were always the one that had the most fun and they had this sort of playful but yet present and focused attitude. This sort of lighthearted but yet present moment attitude. This attitude of confidence meets humility. This attitude of this is me channeling through me the gifts that God has given me uninhibited. And I'm here and I'm focused. My head is not somewhere else. My head is not in judgment towards you or towards myself. I'm here. And I always loved singing. I have loved singing with those kinds of people. One of my favorite accompanists to sing with, he worked at a beautiful church in Newport Beach, and he and I sang with him many times. And he just had so much fun, whether he would play the Beatles or 70s rock or cool 90s love songs all the way to Mozart. it's like he was so much fun to sing with. And we played together and we created cool things together and we felt each other's energy. And it's just a magical experience to meet people that are great at what they do. And part of that puzzle piece is that they don't take themselves that seriously. That is when your art emerges from you effortlessly. You get tapped into a supernatural creativity when you're okay. You sort of embrace, like I said before, it's a little embarrassing. Embrace it. It feels humiliating at times. I feel subpar at times. I feel like I'm not good enough at times. I feel exposed. I feel like people are reading in through my soul. Like you just embrace and accept all of those feelings and you don't fight them. And so I've learned, like I've had people making fun of me. My friends make fun of me when they see like my Instagram singing covers because I'm so immersed. I'm like, and I, with like the full, like, faces and closing my eyes. And I've had people literally leave funny comments like, oh my gosh, like you are too much, Jenny. And it's like, I don't care if they laugh at me because I'm laughing at me too. But yet I'm also laughing all the way to the bank because I'm the one who's making a living doing what I love. So it's like I'm laughing from beginning to end. And, so yes, guys, embrace the feeling of feeling exposed, embarrassed. It's fine if people judge you. They're only judging themselves. Like, trust me, there were plenty of people judging Christina Aguilera. She worked her way all the way to The Voice, which a lot of young people know her from The Voice now. Like, there have been many judgments laid upon her through the years, and she just kept going, staying in her lane of being a phenomenal singer. That's who she is. That's what she does. It's her lane. It's her play. It's her joy. So, if being super serious and being hard on yourself and hating yourself or judging yourself worked, if I thought that was going to get you more money and more prestige, I would tell you to do it because I really don't care about all that much other than the people that follow me or work with me getting their personal dream life. That's all I really care about, is that they get happiness and whatever is those deeper desires God has put in their heart, that they get those things. It's very humbling for me lately because my mentees and my students and people that have worked with me are like surpassing me. Somebody that I mentored about a year ago, I go check out his YouTube and his Instagram and I'm like, this guy is making a killing. He's like doubled, tripled, quadrupled his following, his income in such a short time. He's doing it right. He does. I remember when I met him, he said, Jenny, I just can't think of anything else I want to do than this social media stuff, but I don't know how to make money. And I basically told him the things I tell you guys: have fun, follow your bliss, be in the present moment, stay open to opportunities, allow doors to close and accept them as closed. Allow doors to open and walk through them effortlessly. Play, have fun. Don't give up on the things you love. And, I basically told him the same thing. And at the time, he was hand to mouth when I met him. I mean, yeah, really struggling financially. And I check out his stuff the other day and I'm like, he's just popping. He's popping, and I know he's making good money now doing what he's doing. And I see people that work with me or listen to my work, and I see that when they apply these principles, they can just shoot up to the sky. And it's a humbling experience for me to watch that because I'm like, wow, like people have their destiny. And their destiny is different than my destiny and your destiny. Guys, there's absolutely no shame in someone having a more humble life as well. There are many artists that live a more humble and simple and serene life, doing what they love, and somehow, some way, their needs are met by the world and by God. And then I have other people that work with me and they have, more sort of, we'll call them fancy with the lights on it type of dreams. And I see them moving full court press towards those as well. But I have to keep reminding both sets of people, like, it's your joy that will guide you there. It's fun. It's funny when I teach my students how to do riffs and runs, which is like coloratura, like, it's just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess when I'm first teaching them. It's like if the line's like, hey, right? They'll start saying like, hey, right? And we laugh. It's like, it's so a mess. Because it's the process of learning that's funny. It's the process of when you're first learning to sing really in tune. Very few singers really sing in tune. It's very rare. Even a lot of famous singers do not sing in tune. But when singers are working with me, they're learning how to really sing in tune. And I'm learning that for myself as well. And it's very funny. It's funny when you're singing out of tune. It's funny when you're going through expanding your range and your voice is cracking like Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch. Remember that? When it's time to change, you got to rearrange. It is what it is. And I remember one time I laughed so hard. I just laugh because it's a part of the process of learning. It's a part of the process of growing, and it's funny and it's fun. It's fun. And so you can't resist that. You have to embrace all of that as just a part of the process, and you have to continue to lean in towards joy. I was hanging out, excuse me, on a date the other night, and my man is like never sang in his life, and he's never had a voice lesson. He didn't even know he could sing. He said he used to sing in the shower from time to time. But so he says he likes my cover of Shallow. So I said, okay, let's do a duet. You be Bradley Cooper, I'll be Lady Gaga. And he's like, what? And so I taught him the words, and then I teach him the chorus, right? Which is like something like, in the shallow, something like that, right? So he's singing through it. And he's never done a duet. He's never done harmonies. And he's just cracking up and he's laughing, but he has great pitch. He's really singing on pitch. And he's doing so well holding his own that I go in and start to do, let's do another cough drop here. I go in and start to do harmonies above and below him and around him, and he's still holding his own like a pro. I have singers that have been studying with me, and, they can't hold harmonies and duets like that properly. Sometimes, for a while. He's already doing it from day one. So then I decide, you know what, I like this. I like singing with him, and I love music, and I want music to be a part of my life always. And I love doing that because the thing I think that made our duet singing that night so much fun was that we weren't taking it seriously. It was funny. It was fun. It was playful. It was light. There was nothing heavy about it. And again, guys, not only do I want all of you to have the inner deep desires of your heart totally manifested throughout your life, but in addition, I pray that every artist that comes across my way will become phenomenal in their art. Like whether a person would like to do nothing with their art but just enjoy it for themselves, or a person seeks to win a Grammy. I want every artist that comes my way and works with me to become phenomenal in their art, their personal best, like really amazing. But how we get there is what I'm talking about in this podcast. You get there by having fun. Okay, you produce the greater art and the greater creativity and the greater sound and the greater music and the greater creations from that place of play and joy and fun. So if you find that you're feeling tormented in your art, just simply now start to take those baby steps towards fun. Put down the stuff that feels heavy. Maybe you've been working on writing a song and it just feels really heavy. It doesn't feel light, easy, fun, effortless, funny. Like, put it down for a few months. Put it down for 6 months or 3 months. and then pick it back up again with a new, fresh attitude. Go towards music that feels effortless and easy and just kind of in alignment with you, whatever genre that might be. That's why I don't love to be overly married to a certain genre. Like, I consider myself a crossover singer, which is like kind of a classical undertone meets like pop, jazz, musical theater. I'm not really like a straight pop singer or a straight classical singer. I consider myself a crossover singer. And not all of my singers are crossover. I have many singers that are very specifically, in the pop genre or specifically in the opera genre or whatever it might be. But for me, I love that because I don't like to be married to any one genre. I love all of those genres in different ways, probably almost equally. And so I love to remain open to exploring just the joys of all this different stuff. So try, guys, to not be too stringent. Try to let go. Try to let go of labels. Try to let go of controlling things. Try to let go of perfectionism. Try to let go of imitating other people. Try to let go of sort of with your inner dreams and desires, just sort of set them and forget them. Set it and forget it. So let go of those two and allow God to work through the world to create them effortlessly for you. Meanwhile, you're just here being in the present moment, doing your thing and having fun. I hope this was fun for y'all. If you want to check out my description box below, you can learn more about the products and services that I'm offering currently. And have a beautiful day.